Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Shift.
Happy Sunday.
Uh, what a day. Happy Father's Day to any fathers who listen to us. Um,
Mhm.
Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. And thank y'all for like the really lovely comments that y'all have left. We had I'll read down people who bought us coffees: Kathy, Lauren, Pamela, Liz, Abigail. So appreciated. I told Tanya between that and a couple other donations that we got, we both will be going to the fan club weekend, and know what we've gotten so far will help us pay for our tickets to have drinks with Dom. So, yay. Because these fan club weekends, I was telling Tanya, they're expensive. I was
Yeah, they
like,
are.
this is, I mean, we're going to LA, we're going to kick it with Port Misery, aka Tara. So I'm excited for that. But yikes, stuff is expensive. So feel free to buy some coffee. That link will be in the description. And also, we have created merch, which I'm excited for. So we'll put that storefront also in the description. And when
Mhm.
we go to Fan Club Weekend, look out for us wearing Sunday Shift merch. All those announcements. Tanya, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's been a pretty okay weekend. I have been watching Elsbeth,
I don't know what that is.
and it's a show on CBS. And if anyone watched The Good Wife or The Good Fight, which is the series after that, then
Hmm.
you would know who the Elsbeth character is. She's the
Okay.
quirky one with red hair and would be able to solve cases just by being weird. And so she got her own show, and it's pretty good. It's like kind of like she solves murders of the week, and she has guest stars on the show every almost every week.
Hmm.
People who are, she had Matthew Broderick on one week.
Oh, awesome.
Um, Blair Underwood playing evil Blair as always, but still fine. Uh,
He is
so
still
yeah,
fine. In 2025, he's still fine.
yes,
Yeah.
always. And yeah, so I've been watching that. There's only two seasons.
Mm.
And so I'm still on the second season. She had one romantic counterpart, this guy from Sweden. He is fine.
Okay.
And it was so romantic. And now I want a Swedish man. But
Okay.
that's it as far as TV watching that I've been doing. Oakland is Oaklanding. The weather is great. I've been riding my bike now again. So that's my
Period.
life.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. Nephew just had his third birthday. We had a birthday party, really fun.
Nice.
Niece just had her 17th birthday. Um, Oof, makes me feel very old, but she looked very cute. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, just doing like family time and stuff. Before I come back to Oakland next month. Um, I've not really been watching anything new. I've really been going down some YouTube rabbit holes. Um, I've been watching I've been watching like BuzzFeed has a series, and they've had it for years and years and years, about like people like judging each other's food. And so it's like grandmas taste each
Oh
other's
yeah.
food, hit a pie, whatever.
Yes.
And then I like got into the down the rabbit hole of after that, like watching like West African people, like folks from West African countries, like judge each other's like fufu, or judge each other's like like Jollof. It's been just a joy. I love it. I love how shady people are um to people's food. So I have not watched anything new. What is up on my like docket to watch is Interview with the Vampire. I just have not like
The
really
TV
made myself.
series.
Hmm. Yeah.
I see, I think the last iteration I've had with Anne Rice was the movie with Brad Pitt and
Oh,
was it Brad Pitt and I want to say Tom Cruise, but maybe it wasn't. I remember he was,
Interview with the
no,
Vampire?
yeah, it
The
was a
movie.
movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
From like the
Was that
90s.
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last time I had to do with anything with Aaron. I read all
Did
the
you watch
books.
did you watch Queen of the Dam with Aaliyah?
Was
I think
that
that's part of
after
the
that?
series. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I watched Queen of the Dam, but I only watched the movie. I haven't watched any television stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Interview with
yeah,
the Vampire, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, very, very famous.
yeah.
This is like the series and the actor, Jacob Anderson, Riley Ritchie, from Game of Thrones is in it. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so it's in my docket. I haven't watched it yet, have heard really great things. And up next. But really happy that GH has been like, I don't know, I
On
do also
it.
want to talk about like some of the reasons it's been on it. But first, want to
Yeah.
like talk about who were your performers of the week.
Well, honestly, I think it's been, I'm trying to, like, the only one that's been really memorable for me was Kate McMillan and her Willow breakdown.
Yeah,
That was serious. It was also very highly entertaining, and we all wanted to see it. Well, I wasn't actually expecting her to go the breakdown route. What we wanted to see was the verdict,
right.
and we did want her to feel bad.
Hmm.
So, but she took it up a notch, and
She
she went
killed
full
it.
breakdown. So,
Hmm.
shout out to Kate, breaking it down. She's gonna be one of the latest women who's probably going to visit a psych ward. So,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
do see Ferncliff in her future, unfortunately.
I do
Unfortunately.
Thorncliffe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
it's a
she
rite
did
of
a,
passage for GH women.
yeah.
Who
I think that
hasn't been at Ferncliff?
for Caitlyn, like I think what it is tough because you want to like feel like her performance was that of one I'd like, dang, I want to feel bad for her. And I loved the like reactions of everybody around her. Like, this ain't necessarily what I wanted. Like, I wanted it, but
Right.
I didn't want it.
Yeah. Shout out
Um,
to also Rory Gibson
yeah, I mean,
because
yes.
he played the dang, I feel bad really well. So
Yeah, there are like little nuances to what Rory does as Michael that are so good. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously, we're not gonna get too far into the story, but there was like a point where he was like, where'd you hear that from?" Why, like Uncle Drew, and his face, it's like he's done this several times when it's come to Drew, where it's
Mhm.
like, I am murderous right now, but I also need my kids to be okay. And he has
Yeah.
played that like balance really well. I also enjoyed Jeannie's goodbye with Jonathan. Um, and I'm sad about it. I'm mad, I'm sad, and I can't believe that he's gone.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he could have given a chance to have an even stronger performance. I think, did we talk about this last week? I'm just mad that he's leaving and he could have gotten a better story.
Yep,
This could have been another opportunity for him to get an Emmy.
yep,
And so, yeah, the story, the goodbyes were sad, but I was too pissed to really enjoy them.
yeah. I enjoyed them
So,
the second time around because I watched it twice. I would say I
okay.
also agree. I mean, like clearly, like Jonathan did has done a couple exit interviews,
Hmm.
and one was like him talking about just like why he was leaving, and I do
Yeah.
truly believe he was being gracious. I have no insider information. I don't know anything. Just to be clear, this is all my opinion, but I think that he would have stuck around for a better story. I think that
Yeah,
the commute was not worth it for what they gave him, and they
exactly.
have not known how to write like return stories at all. The best return really has been Rick, and that's because Rick didn't really have a story. He just
Right.
dropped in.
Plopped in. Yeah.
So they have Jason's return story, flop. JJ's return story is Loki, flop. Um, and then, there was like this other thing around like whether or not they should recast or like if they should recast him. And he kind of said like what an actor said who feels like a lot of ownership over the role. Like, I can't really see it. Obviously the show can do what they want to do. I'm on the side, and I tweeted about this. I don't think we need Lucky if it's not JJ. To me,
Hmm.
Lucky is a nostalgia character. And so we all love the nostalgia. Well, not we all. I and you, we love the nostalgia of like him coming back, the stories with Liz, all of that. Even if you remember when he was around in like the 2009, 2010 era, Liz was like cheating on Lucky when it was Eric, not Eric. Because I've been watching days like Eric Brady when,
Greg.
when it was Greg Vaughn. And like
Yeah.
that was happening. And I mean, it was trifling, but people was like, well, Liz and Nick was kind of hot. And the moment that
Yeah.
JJ's Lucky showed up and knocked on that door and was like, long time no see, or whatever he said,
Uh,
people were like, can't believe she's doing this to Lucky. It
right?
was not, he it that character, in order to like hold kind of what people want that character to hold, needs to be
Hmm.
JJ. I there's not if they couldn't figure out what to do with Lucky with JJ in town, why would they know
Hmm.
what to do with Lucky with a recast?
Right.
Like, for what? What's the point?
Right.
So yeah, that was the thing. I thought that was like, I guess. And then yeah. So I'm just salty about it. That's it.
Yeah, that's all. I think you
That's
summed it up
all.
for everybody. Yeah.
Um, well, we'll talk more about it. Let's get into the stories. Let's just start the week where the week started. I'll kind of give like bullet points of like the
Okay.
whole kind of like timeline of what happened this week for the story, and then we can break it down like for each one.
Okay.
So Michael gets full custody. There was a spoiler last week that was like Drew hits a new low. I was like, I wonder what Drew's gonna do. And then we saw it was like, oh no, this actually is a new low.
It
Like,
is. It's the lowest
indeed
of
a
the
new
low.
low. Yeah.
Definitely a new low. Unexpected new low.
Yeah. Like when you kind of mess around with the life of adults, like that's one thing. But when you did that to Wiley, trash.
Yeah.
Um, we got Willow taking the stand. Michael says if Willow gets custody, he about to take the kids out of town. Everybody's like, but he didn't even need to do that because he gets full custody. Willow has a breakdown. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with Michael takes the kids to the hospital, or Christina has them. Wiley obviously runs into Lucas, which I thought was like a sweet nod of like their history. Um,
Hmm.
and then Lucas like is like, oh well, Wiley, I'll watch you, but like I'm right, I have to go over here. You can see me. And Drew sees Wiley. I thought what Drew was gonna do was like take a picture to show that Wiley was like off by himself or that he didn't have supervision. I didn't think
Mm.
he was going to do what he did. So what did you think?
I didn't think any of that. I wasn't even expecting anything to come of that. Maybe, hindsight now, maybe I would have thought that he may have taken a picture of Wiley with Lucas and saying, Michael had, Wiley with him and was still neglectful, something. I had
Right.
never, even while watching it, I was not expecting anything to pop off of that situation. Then he's talking to Rick and trying to come up with an idea of how to break up Michael and Willow's kind of camaraderie. And then he gets this evil smirk of an idea and goes over there and starts talking. And I was like, that is the meanest thing you could possibly do to a little boy, is making him think his dad doesn't love him. Oh my God. I was so sad.
It was shocking.
It was
And
so
it's
shocking.
it was one of those things where like, as like soap watchers, like we like live in the moment, but we're also like, okay, so what is the next thing? When somebody breaks up or like even when people get together, you're like,
Yeah,
okay, what is the story gonna be for this person? So for a long time, I've been like, what is the story going to be for Drew? Like he has been so out of pocket, like what happens? Is he really Shiloh? Is he really whatever? This was like nuts. So him
right.
like, it also makes me think again and again, who are these lawyers for? Drew and and Nina have had so much control over the lawyers for Willow. So the, in the best interest of your client, Rick, you should have been like negotiating for shared custody. Everything that
Yes,
was like run down, you had to know this is not like the divorce is one thing. And the thing was with Sasha having the baby, like that could maybe lead to like a bigger settlement. That could lead to whatever. We're not talking about infidelity during the custody
hmm,
hearing. That isn't the
right.
point. Even the point of like Willow and Drew like messing around is not the point. That's one thing.
Right.
It's that you kept moving them kids around and you didn't care about anything else. So
Hmm.
Rick, as Willow's lawyer, should have tried to figure out, been like, oh wow, they might be like having a compromise. I should be doing that. And
Yeah.
instead, like he's like following Drew's lead.
And then he does have snatches of conscience, like when when Drew was like, "Oh, Michael and Willow are getting along now," Rick
Right,
was like, "Is that so bad?"
right.
Is that a bad? And Drew's like, "Yes, blah 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 blah." And so he kind of was like, "Okay," but I think Rick went into that conversation not really understanding the what Drew's goal was until he saw Wiley. And I think, and he was still kind of going along with it when he saw Wiley and only brought it up to Drew that, that was kind of shady after the fact. He still kind of went along with it. I was
So
like,
that's what I thought the first time I watched it, but
yeah,
watching it back, what I think happened is that Rick was going with the conversation, like, okay. And then he saw Wiley there after the
Wiley.
conversation was over. So I don't think he was
Okay.
going along with the conversation while he knew Wiley was there. I mean, Rick's
There. Yeah.
slimy and he would do that, but I don't think that's
Yeah.
what he was doing in the moment. And
Okay.
then you have him being like, again, like your point your job as Willow's lawyer is to like give her the best possible outcome. Like skipping ahead, even Martin was like, oh yeah, I assumed that it would be 60-40 for Michael. So even Martin thought that Michael was like kind of going to win. So
Hmm.
when Rick kind of was like, oh, I feel bad about this, you should feel bad. And what I would have liked to see is for him to even say something like, I let my hate for Michael blind me into believing that I was going after Sonny. Like the way Rick was talking, it was not the way you go after like Michael Corinthos the third. That was the way you
Hmm.
go after Michael Sonny Corinthos. And so you have the situation where Rick is like going hard and not thinking about Willow's best interest. Nothing, everybody was like, this is a horrible strategy. So they dumbed Rick down and didn't even like allow Rick to have a moment of like self-realization to be like, oh yeah, I kind of messed that up.
Yeah. I mean, I never really saw, and I don't necessarily see Rick having any particular feelings about Michael per se, other than being an extension of Sonny. But
No,
I've
Rick hates
never
Michael.
really, yeah, yeah, but I'm trying to understand why, because I don't see it. Because I don't know, Michael was an annoying little kid growing up, but I don't think as an adult he's done anything in particular to Rick.
Yeah, you
Um,
did. Remember like
what?
when Sonny and Rick were kind of getting closer when Michael was like going after Sonny, when Michael got Avery, when all of that was happening. Michael is the one who kicked Rick out of the hospital when Sonny got shot or whatever. And so he
No.
was like, and Rick was like, you didn't even want to be, Corinthos. He said, well, I'm Corinthos now and you got to bounce. You're an employee. And
Okay.
so, yeah, Rick hates Michael too. They haven't talked about it, and I think that would have been a good point
Yeah.
of reflection. But yeah, Rick definitely
Yeah.
hates Michael.
Because I didn't remember it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think Rick, for me, I think Rick would have been a lot better if he decided to take direction more from Willow and actually was like, okay, I'm going to make sure Willow is okay with everything that I'm doing and really talking to her outside of Drew and Nina. None of the lawyers did that, which is sad. Like
Yeah,
none of them
that's what I was
actually
saying.
was
Like,
like,
who
I need
is
to
the,
consult with,
yeah,
Willow on this.
because
Um,
Martin delivered like the separation papers without Willow.
yeah, exactly.
So this has just
But
been a very bizarre, their fault type of situation. So Michael goes to the
at the end of the
courthouse. Oh,
day, but I'm thinking at the end of the day, who are they really serving? The client or the person who's paying?
right.
Yeah.
And it should be the client.
Right.
So Michael goes to the courthouse to say to Willow, because he had called her earlier thinking they was gonna like after their nice moment, seeing his outside baby last week. He thought they were gonna be able to like really sit down and have something calm. This thing happens with Drew. He's like, okay. He goes to the courthouse, he tells Willow, and Willow first accuses Wiley of lying or like not understanding something. And then after that, accuses Rick or accuses Michael of lying and saying that he was doing this to try to take her away from Drew. I don't think it could be overstated how dangerous it is for a mother not to believe their kid and not even to investigate.
Yeah, that's what I get. I mean, I can believe sometimes kids saying things and not understanding, but she didn't even go to him and say, hey, can you tell me what you talked to your dad about with Uncle Drew? She didn't do any of that. She didn't even like, ask him, are you okay? Or, to talk to Wiley. Because I would have thought as a mom, it's pretty traumatic to hear or at least to misunderstand. At the very least, she can go in and help reassure him that dad still wants you. Like, remember, we all went to see the baby together as a family. And so it's important that you understand that this baby is part of our family now. And then just kind of lead into that conversation. But she didn't do that. She automatically went to somebody's lying, somebody's making a mistake. Drew is right. Drew would never. She said that twice. Drew would never. Mm-mm. She must not recognize that Drew is different. Everybody else sees that Drew is evil now, and she still thinks he's the same nice guy.
Well, yeah, because he's hidden everything from her. So, and that's why I'm interested to see like how everything comes out. So everybody's been
Uh-huh.
waiting to have like the Drew Nina thing to come out. Everybody's been waiting for all these things. It feels like part of Willow's breakdown is going to be her finding out everything at the same time. Like you remember he lied about Jason being in his house. I'm
Hmm.
curious if the show remembers some of this stuff. He lied about Jason being in his house. He obviously lied about um coming to or paying off the nurse to say that Michael didn't want to see Willow. The
Hmm.
Nina and Drew thing he lied about framing Tracy. She caught him
Hmm.
with the ketamine and he pretended like he didn't have it, didn't see it. There's been lie after lie after lie. And everything and every reason that she lost them kids was everything that either Nina told her to do or that Drew told her to do.
The interesting thing to me is moving forward, when she lost custody, she literally faints after saying to Drew, you told me I would win. She said it twice. You told me I believed you, and that's when the break happened. Because I think you're right. I think she's getting close to understanding, at least in her mind, that something is off with Drew or something is not truthful with him. But she doesn't like her mind doesn't even want to even contemplate that. And so immediately makes her faint and catatonic because her whole belief system was caught up in Drew being her protector, being the one that has her best interest in mind. And the minute that the thought that Drew doesn't actually have her best interest or knows everything or is correct, it just broke her, which is crazy.
But it also, for me, I
Yeah.
think part of what made it so, okay, back to the custody hearing. So
Yeah.
obviously we have Michael saying that like after Willow gets on the stand, Diane even asked her, like, would you choose who would you choose between your kids and Drew? And
Mhm.
I thought it was really telling that she couldn't give a straight answer.
Or that wasn't so much that she couldn't, is that she wouldn't. She was like,
Right,
why do I have to choose? Girl, your
right,
first thought should be your children, no matter what.
right.
Even in like the most stable and happy marriages, I always hear parents say children before marriage.
Hmm.
I've heard it. Like the parent, that's innate. That's innate instinct to protect your child above all else. And here she is on the stand talking about why do I have to choose between my children and my partner?
Right. Yeah, what did you feel about Michael with the threat that if he lost, he would take the kids?
I mean, I think it was wild for him to be like, I'm just gonna take the kids and leave my other child here.
Like,
Y'all got
listen,
this
I
one.
can't trust Sasha. I can't trust Willow.
Well, yeah, Willow's definitely proven to be untrustworthy, but still, just
Yeah.
like,
That
I'm
I
gonna
think
leave
is
my
my
newborn baby.
right. With her mama, she good. She good. Um, that's the thing I think that made it hard for me. Like Katie's performance is one thing, phenomenal performance. Would not take that away from her. I was like, okay, girl, I see you. You working.
Yeah,
I was like, you've been in classes, you've been practicing this, like you did your thing. Because it also is one of those things where you have to do something like that while everybody witnesses you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like you got
yeah,
Steve and Laura and Rory and like everybody is witnessing Cynthia and Cameron. Like,
yeah.
so I don't want to take away from her performance. And it's really tough to feel bad for her because everything she did, the whole time we was like, what are you doing? Every
Right.
moment of everything she did, from trying to take them kids, on the night that Michael found out, to every decision she's made after that has been wild. While on the flip side, we have never seen Michael be anything but a good parent, ever.
Hmm.
Even when Michael first found out Wiley was his, I remember he took time away because he was running ELQ. He took time away to go like get himself like connected to Wiley as his father. Michael has truly only been a good father to his kids. And so to see Willow even on the stand be like, when they said, do you think he's a good father? Meanwhile, right after she told Nina that she thought he was, to get on the
Hmm.
stand and be like, not anymore because he doesn't like support my relationship with Drew. It was really tough to like feel any empathy because you should have known better than every single decision you made.
Hmm.
Every decision you made was airhead decision. And it would also make me concerned about your decision making when it comes to your kids.
Yeah. Every decision that she made also was made for her by Drew, you know,
And Nina.
and Nina. So I expected the only thing I would have added a little bit more was kind of internalizing all the things that the judge was saying to her. Because it was almost as if
Yeah, she was broke.
she was like
Hmm.
in disbelief or numb. She was
Hmm.
hearing it, but not hearing it.
Yeah.
So it would be great, like maybe while she's in, the psych ward or while she's like internalizing everything, she goes back over what the judge says to her. And then she kind of
Yeah.
like in order for her to be redeemed, is her recognizing that the decisions she made were horrible in the
Hmm.
past.
Yeah.
and that she should have, yeah, she should have done it differently.
Well, she had a little bit of that voiceover, not of like the why, but like when
But
she was
just
in
the
the room by
loss.
herself,
Yeah.
like the she lost.
Yeah.
So anyway, get back in court. So before they get back in court, Michael and Willow both end up at the same park seeing the kids.
Hmm.
And they're like, it didn't have to be this way. Both of them are recognizing that. And then boom, the case is called back. They're called back in.
Hmm.
So they come back to court and they start with the divorce proceedings and talk about like, okay, y'all are divorced now. You got the Range Rover, it is to that. And then they get into custody. And to your point, she ran down every single thing. Not every single thing, to be quite honest, but like
Right.
you bought took Wiley across state lines to like
Hmm.
without his dad's permission. You signed over your parental or like the guardianship in case if that happens to you to Drew without his father knowing. You you like sleeping with Drew in the next room over from your kid. You have continued to put your and she's like you have shown a pattern of disregard for their mental well-being. I said, "Ooh," and you
Before she
have.
even go, like for me, before she goes even into the custody discussion, I was listening carefully to everything she said about the divorce
Hmm.
and that and the settlement. She got the Range Rover or whatever,
Hmm.
and something to do with some sort of stock or whatever that they had. But she did not say, oh, and you get child support. When she did
No.
not say child support, I was like,
Or spousal
ooh,
support. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
spousal support. That could
Hmm.
be a big clue. Like
Hmm.
somebody's not getting that kid and the kid or
Right. I didn't
whoever's
think about
getting
that.
the kid doesn't need support. So
Hmm.
I was like, but yes, you
Yeah.
broke it down.
But this is
I just
also like the point of her not thinking about her kids outside of her
mhm,
relationship.
right.
That because you were with Drew, you didn't ask for spousal support. You didn't ask for child
Mhm,
support. You didn't ask for
mhm,
anything because your assumption was that Drew was going to take care of you. Because even if you would have won custody, then y'all already said y'all were taking the kids to DC. So Willow, you would have been leaving your job. All you would have had is a
right,
Range Rover, some art and jewelry. You
right.
would have had no way to take care of yourself, and you would have had nothing that you rightfully would have like deserved. I don't know if Michael and Willow had a prenup, but you would have had nothing at the end of this
Hmm.
marriage. You would have then been dependent upon another man.
Totally.
And I think the
Because
manipulation piece, oh, go ahead.
I was like, because a nurse's salary ain't that great.
But she
It
wouldn't have even
should
had a
be.
job. I mean, she could have tried to
Right.
get one in DC, but she would have
Yeah.
left your job.
Yeah.
So, it was always all bad. So the judge, like we said, like ran down all the reasons she wasn't getting them kids, and then she like had like disassociated, didn't know. Rick had to tell her, and then she gets up and she's like yelling. And I something that always sticks with me, and somebody pulled the receipts on Twitter, and it was like every time Willow talks, it's always about what she needs. The night that
Mhm.
she took the kids from um the house after the tape played of her sleeping with Drew, she was like, "Please let me have it. I need this tonight. I need this with the kids."
Mhm.
Like kids need their mother. They didn't like nothing about their father. You would have easily, when they walked into court and Rick said, "Oh, well, the quick verdict could mean also like shared custody." And Nina was
Mhm.
like, "Would you be okay with that?" And she says, "It would be
No.
uncomfortable for me.
She's like, I'd rather not. That's
I'd
what she
rather
said.
not because it
I'm
was
like,
already uncomfortable for me."
yeah.
So kids need their mother is like her common refrain over and over. Kids should be with their mother, kids should be with their mother, with never thinking about these kids needing to be with their father because of their close
Yeah.
relationship. And her
Right.
even saying Michael was like an absent parent. We've never heard this complaint from you, Willow. Oh, he missed things because of whatever. We've never heard these complaints from you. When she talked about Michael and was like talking about how ruthless he was, she knows Michael to be ruthless when it calls for it. She's never known Michael to be a liar.
And she also didn't bring up the fact that she's missed time with the kids being a nurse, working
Right.
whatever shifts. He's never said any of that.
No.
He like all the things he could have said about her, he
Yeah.
didn't.
We have also always talked about Millow, the relationship, as being like so bogged down with them kids. They were
Right.
always with their kids. So it just was
Hmm.
like, whatever. So she has this break. Michael leaves and like was like, I didn't even want to do that to her, but you know.
Hmm.
So she has
He's
this
very
break.
sad.
Yeah. Ends up at the hospital. Elizabeth takes her and even says, we about to get her a psych consult. And Drew is like, how could we have lost? What you mean? Did you not hear the judge? It was really clear how you could have lost, and it was you. And I do not want to like absolve Nina of her role in this. It was Nina's fault too. Nina sat there and
Yes.
said nothing to Willow every time. She knew that Drew said that stuff to Wiley. She 100% knew that,
Yeah, she did. And she didn't say anything.
and she's
She
not said
didn't.
anything about how shady Drew is anyway.
Mm-mm.
So now your daughter doesn't have her kids because you were a coward.
Yep. And continue to be. Mm-mm-mm.
So, you know, and now Drew was like talking. So Drew the next day talking to Martin because Martin, I guess, is taking the kids back or whatever he's doing, and it's like, well, how could this have happened? And this is whatever, and how I can't believe it. And Martin even said, "Y'all strategy was crazy." What do you mean, absent father? Because he was getting the best possible treatment. What do you mean?
Like
So
the judge's verdict is sound. There's like you can't even go on an appeal because it was just like very legal and very sound.
yeah. So we do know that he calls Jason, Drew calls Jason to try to talk to him. Again, yet again, not including Willow in any decision making.
Right. And that is going to be a conversation I can't wait to witness.
Hmm.
Because in the previews,
Yep.
Jason is yelling at him. And Jason rarely yells at anybody.
Jason already beat his ass, so
Right? Do it again.
right. And I thought the scene with Michael and Wiley was really good. Rory is
Mhm.
getting a great performance out of that little boy over and
Yeah,
over.
over and
And so when he told him that he wasn't going to see Willow, this is why Michael is a good parent. This is why Michael is the better parent because Michael has always been concerned about what it means for his kids that they didn't have their mother. And Willow
over.
is basically like, well, Drew can be their substitute daddy. Wild, wild stuff. Again, I'm interested. So we have so to review what we have left to come out. We have Willow, or I'm sorry, Nina and Drew sleeping together. We
Hmm.
have Drew lying about Jason's alibi. We
Hmm.
have Drew paying off the nurse to say that Michael didn't want to talk to her. We
Hmm.
have there's something else. There's one more thing.
Drew
Oh, the
making
ketamine.
Wiley. Well, yeah,
Oh,
and Drew making Wiley believe that Michael didn't want.
yep. So I feel like when all of those things come out, my assumption, because Willow is kind of on her own, maybe
Yeah.
she'll lean up on the hospital family. Maybe she'll get closer to like Isaiah or something. I don't know. But my assumption is that she'll be mad at Nina, but I'm imagining that she's gonna still be in relationship with Nina. Because what else would she do? I don't know. But when
Yeah.
all of that hits her like a ton of bricks, I imagine that that's going to be the final straw of her sanity.
Hmm. Yeah, because she's not going to know who or what to trust. It's going
Hmm.
to be. and she doesn't have the strength enough to actually trust in herself, which is sad.
Right.
I think she's the type of person who doesn't know how to be alone and never thought that being like even early on before she actually moved in with Drew, all of us were thinking, well, why can't she just have like Nina offered it to her,
Yeah.
offered to pay for her own apartment for her to be by herself, and she just could not contemplate it.
Right.
So now she's going to be
Yeah.
forced into doing that, and that's going to be it's going to be crazy for her.
Yeah. You moved in with Drew before you were even divorced.
Hmm.
Because we're in love. Okay, be in love in a different place. And that was like the thing that was always so weird about lawyers with them. No lawyer was like, because even Nina was like, some of this stuff looks bad. And the lawyer's like,
Hmm.
well, whatever. No, not well, whatever.
Yeah, they're
This
like
looks bad.
being in love isn't against the law. I'm like, it's not, but it's
And the
bad
judge
justice.
said, let me tell you what's against the law. Yeah, and she also, I mean, the other piece is that she said them kids need psyche vows.
Hmm.
So. More to come. Like that's I think why this story is particularly good because it just keeps going and there's so much like an onion. Like there's layer by layer. So there's more layers of
Yeah.
the story to peel back.
Yeah.
All right. Martin is back in town. He's like targeting Tracy. He's mad at Tracy because she's the one who put him in or like got the ex-wives together. He's now
Hmm.
broke. He moved in with Laura and yeah. I, Martin, there was a point when like Jane Elliott as Tracy said to him something about like maybe toilet Chardonnay or something, and he
Hmm.
tried so hard not to laugh, but he couldn't. I like watched it back. Like if you watch the scene back, like he's like from behind, and he like literally like got like like he's like laughing at Jane Elliott's line delivery. So I do think they're gonna be like really fun to watch together and like whatever Martin has coming up. I like Martin's
Yeah.
chemistry with Laura as her brother. Um,
Hmm.
it's just like they found out they was grown as hell and they was like, we love each other, we're siblings. And so I do wonder if Martin's gonna support Willow in any kind of appeal for this.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It sounds like he still gonna work with Drew? Because he was talking with Drew. I mean, he
I
was
don't
trying to
know.
talk him out of certain ideas, but yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but I also wonder like what he's gonna do about, or if he's gonna be bought into Willow breaking into his room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not Willow. Sorry, Lulu.
Lulu, yeah.
Yeah. So, um, let's talk about Lucky leaving town. He says goodbye to Lulu and Laura. He gives Isaiah his cabin, and then we get this Eleanor to goodbye.
Hmm.
I thought that his scene with Alexa as Lulu was really, really good. Her goodbye to him was like really heartfelt. Because like you expect that from Jeannie because Jeannie, and I talk about this all the time, like Jonathan is like Jeannie has said that Jonathan is like the reason that she knew she could be a mother. Like playing his
Hmm.
mother was like when she was younger was like, oh okay, I can have kids. So like that's expected because they've been close for 30 years or whatever. But you couldn't tell that that Lulu and Lucky have not been close that same way. So I felt her
Yeah.
emotions were good. I felt him checking her and being like, "Girl," was good. I wish that we would have had more. I find Lulu to be pretty unbearably annoying, but that's just my personal.
Yeah.
But I find when a lot of people are around Lucky, with the exception of Christina, they become a lot more tolerable. So I wish that was obviously a missed opportunity that we didn't get more Lulu and Lucky.
Hmm. Yeah. A
Yeah,
lot of missed opportunities there.
always.
Hmm.
Um, we we have the goodbye with him and Laura. Um, I was like, I didn't even care about it until she pulled out that old picture of him after he was gone. And then he has like the cabin that belongs to Luke, that it's a fixer-upper. He was gonna give it to Aiden, and Aiden was like, Aiden, Aiden was like, I don't want this. Which made me laugh a little bit. And so he gives it to Isaiah. So Isaiah is putting down roots. We'll see what that means for him in like his relationships. And then he says something to Elizabeth and is like, look, I'm losing my best friend, but you need to know that make sure that you've said everything that you need to say to Lucky. So I was glad that Lucky was taking Aiden. He's only half a deadbeat. So he's taking
Hmm.
Aiden with him for the summer. And so Liz, in the classic trope, goes to the airport, tells him to wait for her. He waits off the plane. She gets there, and they have an epic goodbye kiss. And I unraveled. I was so sad.
I'm like, they didn't even get to have one night of lovemaking at all. And I'm like,
No love making.
none. No, get down with the get down. None of it.
None, none.
That's sad.
I hate it. It was such a loss. They're
Mm-hmm.
such like such a comfort couple for so many people. And it just makes me sad. I am people, and it makes me sad that we didn't get more of them. But they definitely gave us a goodbye. And you know what? Like, I get it, not in the terms of like the backstage stuff is like the stuff that's annoying, but the
Mm-hmm.
character stuff around like Elizabeth like choosing herself and being like, look, we would be miserable if we were together. And
Yeah.
like the maturity of the two of them understanding and the kind of like heartbreak. I think that sometimes like if you I won't spoil it, I guess, if you don't watch Schitt's Creek, but they had like another breakup that was more like that was also like I love you, but this ain't it for us right now. Those things always like hit me right in the feels because it isn't
Mm-hmm.
about not loving each other. It is about like choosing yourself and your circumstance so that you're not miserable trying to force a relationship that couldn't work. Um, and I thought that that at least was compelling.
Yeah.
Sad. I'm still sad. In the in the LNL2 grief cycle, I'm still at sadness. I was in
Oh.
anger. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get to acceptance, but certainly still sad.
Oh.
Um, yeah. Black Hospital. Let's break down everybody. So we talked about Isaiah. Isaiah obviously had this goodbye with Lucky. Their friend Kim, always still on point, loved it.
Yeah.
But he goes to Portia's office and notices that she threw her phone across the room. She blames scam calls, which I was like, you know what? That's fair.
It is. Because these calls are off the chain.
Hate them scam calls. But he's like real with her. He's like, yo, he's like, is it about you lying to your husband? I did laugh. Because why would you say that to somebody? Um, but scam calls, lie to your husband, and then but he made a point. He was like, "Look, you're distracted, and this is a hospital, and it would be terrible if you made a mistake." And she told him to mind his business, whatever, whatever.
And got all puffy about it.
I
I would have been
know.
like, "Oh, I'm thank you for your concern. I'll keep you in mind." No, she's like, "Mind your business, and I'm this, and I'm woo to woo, and I can handle it." Girl, no, you can't.
You
Clearly.
can't. You cannot. We can tell. You cannot.
Right. And if other people are noticing, that should give you some pause.
It should. It isn't.
Right.
Ugh. And so yeah. Um, Kai goes talk to Portia, and I don't know. It was a weird conversation. He was clearly trying to feel her out, asking her some things about Drew. So then, when he's with Trina at the pool, he tells Trina. what he heard. Oh, Trina.
Trina was like, dude, this is none of your business. We ain't doing nothing. Like, yes.
And see, I I like that as a black girl. I hate that as like a soap character.
Right.
Like
Because,
Trina has actually always been a very inquisitive character and has always been in the mix of like stuff like that. And so
yeah.
when she heard that, Trina should have been like, we need to investigate this. And then they could have a story that was about her and not about her
Yeah.
going to like miss the delivery from the gallery so she can go to the like doctor with Kai. This would have been an interesting way for her to like be a part of a story that was like centered on her, her parents figuring out all of that. Part of what Portia said is that, she didn't want Trina to feel bad or Drew or somebody was like, Trina would feel bad if she found out all this stuff was for her. We needed Trina to like find that out. And
Hmm.
instead, she like, nah, I'm trying to go swimming. What?
Or she's choosing to trust her parents and not getting
No.
in the mix. But I can tell you, you're right. I mean, I would have told Kai, this is none of your business, but I would have gone to my dad and be like, what's going on?
I
People are
mean,
hearing things, you know?
it's not consistent with Trina's character. Trina's character is
Yeah,
nosy. Trina's character does that investigation work.
right.
Like that is consistent with the character of Trina. Her just being like, nah, we just like the runaway story before she gets it. I wasn't a
Hmm.
fan. But Kai does was like your dad and your mom trying to take like hire a sex worker to take down a congressperson.
That's a lot.
And Trina's just like, well, it's not our business. Okay. But Curtis does hire Felicia
Hmm.
to find Jacinda. And Felicia's like, look, I'll help you find her, but I'm not about to bring you some woman and throw in the middle of like a big scandal if she don't want to be in it. And Curtis agrees to
Hmm.
that. So when she leaves, or as she's leaving, Jordan comes in, so Jordan knows what time it is immediately, and is like,
Hmm.
"You hired Felicia to find Jacinda," and said the smartest thing. Right now, you have a Drew problem, but if this goes wrong, you'll have a Jacinda problem.
Hmm.
I, are you they're like wife swapping? Like, are we gonna see Curtis with Jordan and Isaiah with Portia?
I don't know because Portia, like I said, she wasn't even polite when he came to her. I wouldn't want to be with someone like her. She's, I personally don't want to see Isaiah with her because of that attitude that she has.
Mm,
And then it looks like Isaiah is being Kim tested with a lot of different people.
everybody.
Everybody. So I don't know. I mean, I like Black Love and all, but right now, unfortunately, the way they're playing Portia, I don't see her as being romantically viable with anyone at the moment. So,
Yeah,
which is too
yeah.
bad because Brooke Kerr is really amazing.
Brooke Kerr is so phenomenal. She's so good. If
Hmm.
you're a fan of Passions, old school fan of Passions, you know what Brooke Kerr is able to do. And they have done
Hmm.
nothing. They've done no favors with her writing, and they've done no favors with Trina's writing. And to be quite
Right.
honest, the difference between fan bases is that Trina was part of a couple that people like, but they haven't written Trina to be an intriguing character.
Yeah.
When was the last time Trina did something that was interesting? I can't remember it. And the same thing is happening, and the same thing has happened with Portia. Like
Hmm.
last thing I remember that Portia did that was like rootable was to like wake that dude up to make sure Trina didn't go to jail.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so anyway, um, yeah. Let's talk about Lante and Chalynn. I am fascinated about what you think about this, and I want to talk about it. So we obviously have Brooklyn wanting to get even with Lulu. Tracy's kind of like, well, I love Lulu. And Brooklyn reminded her, like, if somebody would have did this to you, you would have gone off. And the only reason that you don't want me to go off on Lulu is because you love Lulu. But don't worry, I hate her enough to overtake your love, basically. And then we have like Lulu being unapologetic about everything that she's done. She don't think it's
Mhm.
nobody, she's like, whatever, I did it. And then you have Dante having like a really bad attitude with Chase. So I'm like, oh, we got Lante versus Chalynn. We also have Maxie trying to like parent trap Brooklyn and Lulu and possibly making it worse. So I
Mhm.
want to break it down on every level. Do you think that Brooklyn should go after Lulu?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Especially, I mean, especially after the conversation Lulu had was like, I'm not sorry. I have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to apologize, and I'm not gonna. I was like,
Right.
okay. And Brooklyn came to her several times nicely, asking her to back off, asking her to let her make the decision in terms of this, and asking
Mm-hmm.
Lulu to mind her business. And
Mm-hmm.
Lulu refused. And so I think Brooklyn has every right to go after Lulu and be like, revenge or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lulu still has not internalized the role and the pain that she has caused. She's only feeling sorry for um Gio, but I don't think she hasn't internalized the pain she's caused everybody else. And the fact that she should have just mind her own business. Even everybody was telling her to mind her business. Her mama, all of them. And she still didn't do it. And she still feels self-righteously that she's correct. So yeah, go for it,
Yeah.
Brooklyn. I'm here. Do it.
Yeah. You know, for me, I, so okay. I want to talk about why I think this is a good story. So first, I think it's a good story because there's so many like different perspectives. And so
Mhm.
when I would get frustrated at GH before, it would be because like things were happening and they were being pushed as if like, like they want you to feel one way versus the other. I think about that a lot. Even when you go back to like what they did with like Charlie, for example, when they put Jason and Carly together, it's okay. Like if you're whatever, I'm not gonna ever like Charlie. That's not my band. That's not my ship. That's not what I like. But you need somebody there that you can like latch onto to like feel the way you feel for stuff like that. So you needed people to be like, this kind of crazy, right? Like you know what I mean? You needed people to be like, Sunny just died, and now Carly and Jason together, and it couldn't just be Sam. It needed to be like for real people being like, "This is weird." It needed to be Monica. Monica shouldn't be like, "Whatever my son wants." Like she should go, and she should have had an attitude at the wedding. Not well. Jason and Carly's love. No, Jason and Carly's love nothing. And so I think if they would have allowed people to feel how they feel about things, you would have had like a variety of opinions and they would play it out. Same thing that they're trying to do with Sona. They tried to like push Sona as like, they brought back the ghost of black people to like bless Sunny having an affair. Like, what are we talking about? Or they like people in town weren't people were just like congratulating them like it was good, as opposed to being like, that's wild. That's what people wanted. That's what people need. And so I think with the Brooklyn, Dante, like Chase, Lulu thing, there are a variety of opinions. And I would imagine, like, I'm not a Lulu fan, but if you felt like Lulu was right, and when Lulu was like, I ain't sorry, I would imagine that if you're a Lulu fan, you like, she said on business. I like that. The same way I like when Carly stands on business. It's the reason why I've
Mhm.
said many times I don't like Nina. She don't stand on
Mhm.
nothing. So I think that is why I think this is a good story. Now, I am on Chalynn's side, 100%. But I can like see so many different like avenues and reasons, and it is like very complicated, and it's like a web, and it's interesting. So thinking about Dante, Dante has annoyed me 100%. And I understand why Dante would feel away at Brooklyn. Not just for what happened and her choice when they were 15, 16, 17, but that I thought we were friends and we have been living together and we've been like building our lives together and all these things, and you didn't tell me this thing.
Hmm.
I don't think she had to, but I could get why Dante would be mad.
Right. I mean,
I
I can get, especially, I mean, here we are on Father's Day.
mm-mm,
Um, Being a father is a pretty important thing, and not knowing that you have a child out there is pretty jarring. And to have your person who you thought was your friend keep that information from you. And I'm not talking about Chase, I'm just talking about Brooklyn. Because
yes,
right now,
100%.
I think he's wilding out about Chase. But
Yes.
anyway, Brooklyn being his friend, not telling him even after they were adults and they are both in pretty secure situations as far as being able to handle having a child in their life, she still did not tell him. And
Right.
so I think she basically took his right as a father away from him. And I can understand why he's upset about that. I still think that Brooklyn had every right to make that decision, but I can see why he's upset. Um,
Right.
and
Agreed.
so yeah, I mean, I've been seeing conversations over the web, the interwebs,
Ooh, tell me
and
what you've been saying.
and then people are saying that it's what were they saying? Like people are saying that maybe it was you actually. People were saying they liked Dante with Sam better
Oh yeah,
than
I
without.
definitely said that.
And I agree. I think Dante was a more chill person. He was more, relaxed, less judgmental.
Yep.
Definitely had a sense of humor, with Sam and with other people. And I
Hmm.
think right now he's not that man anymore. He's not what made him really sexy. He's still hot as all get out. But what made him sexy was the fun and the open-minded and the less judgmental Dante.
Hmm.
And now he's just like this, yapping chihuahua, just mad at everything.
Yeah, I mean, Sam settled him. She made him
Mhm.
less self-righteous. I feel like
Yes.
she even helped in the relationship with Sonny. Because obviously, like he was
Hmm.
getting closer to Sonny, specifically when Sonny went and got him from Turkey and all of that. But Sam really like helped him understand that like there's like a gray area and that you can like
Hmm.
do your job and still love your dad. And I think,
Yeah.
they were getting close, and like Sonny and Dante had been getting close, but that like Sam's presence really cemented that like relationship for them.
Hmm.
And like you said, that seems like fun and sexy, and like like him and Sam were like the little bite-sized snack couple. Like
Yeah.
every time you saw them, I loved the thing I loved about Sante is that they always had their hands on each other. Like
Yes.
even if they weren't the focus of the scene, you was never gonna catch him not holding her hand or hugging her or like they just
Hmm.
always like touch was their love language. And I think that Kelly and Dom did such an excellent job with that because Sante was given so little. And
Hmm.
so every time Sante was given a one, Kelly and Dom was gonna take a 10 on it. You know what I mean? Every
Hmm.
time. And
Every chance.
so every chance they got, and I really enjoyed that about them. And without Sam, you see Dante like so to your point around the chase thing.
Hmm.
I don't understand Dante at all with Chase. I don't think he is right at all. Why do you think Chase was going to betray his wife for you? And I didn't like what he was saying around like you need to man up and da 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 da. This is like really some of the same language he used with Gio around like, oh, you were
Hmm.
raised by women. Like, I'm
Yes.
sorry, but like I don't know when Dante became like a chauvinist. Like I don't know when that happened. Not in this way. So I understand Chase like kind of giving him space because we saw the other side of it. We saw Chase having a hard time with it. We saw Chase
Hmm.
asking Brooklyn, "Are you sure you don't want to tell Dante?" But Brooklyn was struggling when it was going on. They're struggling with the whole baby, like they're struggling with all of that. So I'm sorry, Dante. Brooklyn telling you something 22 years later is not Chase's like number one priority when it comes to his wife by any means. And Chase, I could understand giving him space, but I'm sure his assumption is if you came to work, then you could at least be professional. Because Chase didn't bring anything personal to him. Chase wasn't like,
Hmm.
did you talk to Geo? That would have been different. And if Dante would have popped off on him about that, that could have been different. Chase was talking to him about something professional, and here go Dante being like, I don't know if I can trust him because he didn't tell me this thing. Nobody wants to hear it, Dante. Nobody wants
This
to
is
hear
also
it.
some, and this is something also that I heard on the internet. Somebody they're saying like at the same time, Dante didn't tell him that he had an affair with his wife.
Yet, I've heard that too. Like
Right?
you didn't tell me because if you remember when Chase and Brooklyn were first getting close, Dante kind of warned Chase against Brooklyn. And Chase
Hmm.
had to be like, yo, chill out. And he never once was like, well, it's because we had this relationship. And I can't take seriously this whole idea about Carly and the drugging, particularly from Lulu, or like Brooklyn and the drugging, particularly from Lulu.
Hmm.
I saw somebody look. We're not talking about social media, but I saw somebody say like, for them, it's gonna be up forever. Sure, if Lulu still felt a way about Carly, because
Hmm.
Carly's my girl, and Carly never got any comeuppance for that. That was a mess.
Right.
Like it just was what it was, and I'm fine with it because Carly's my girl. But yeah, somebody like Carly should have got more smoke for that. So for Lulu to have more smoke for like her peer than somebody who was older than her, who played like a mentorship role to her, doing this, that's ridiculous. You can't be close to Carly while
Hmm.
hating Brooklyn over this drugging Dante thing that happened a decade ago. That doesn't make
Right.
sense, and I don't want to see it. To be quite honest.
I think Dante
So,
brought it up in a conversation, one of their fights that they had.
mm,
Why are you still hung up on Brooklyn doing this? You and Carly are still close.
hmm
She didn't give a very satisfying answer to that. So yeah. And I think that's when it came out that, she still loves him. Because I think that was the focus for
yeah,
him. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I mean, because
whew,
the other thing for me, particularly with them, so I remember like Brooklyn and Lulu when M was still in the role had like a big fight. It was like in the Metro Court or
right.
something, and then Valentine like taped it because when he was going to try to get custody of Charlotte, like all of that. So they've not liked each other for a long time. But Lulu was in this coma, and then she came out with a new lease on life, and people were different. And she never took the opportunity to see who was different, how, and why. And so to go from Maxie never dealing with Lulu to like them seeing that they're besties now, I would ask the question, what happened?
Right.
If you hated
I don't,
Lulu or if you hated Brooklyn so much, you should have never tried to work for her in deception. If it's up, it's up. Why won't you be my boss?
did Maxie even tell Lulu what Brooklyn did for her? I don't think she still
Not on
knows.
camera. Not on camera. So I
Okay.
don't know if she knows. I don't know what
Yeah.
she knows. Yeah, not on camera.
Yeah.
Or not on screen. So, that's the other piece. So we get to this situation where Maxie is like trying to like parent trap Brooklyn and Lulu. And she's like, Maxie gives this like, what would you do? Because Brooklyn is like, or Maxie is like, what would you do if this was Rocco? What would you do? And here go Lulu, I don't lie to my kids, so it wouldn't be me and Rocco. I don't like just no understanding
Yeah.
of this woman. And it's hard to like even see that for Lulu because Lulu actually talked to Brooklyn. So
Hmm.
we watched her do nothing but think the worst of Brooklyn, think Brooklyn was a liar, think that she, all of the things that weren't true that we know that are not true of Brooklyn anymore because we have watched her grow. This is one of the few characters that we watch like grow up in front of our eyes and actually
Hmm.
evolve as a character. So we've seen this, and so it's tough to watch Lulu essentially like not think she did anything wrong when really what you did wrong, Lulu, is that if you were going to tell Dante, you should have just told him.
Right.
That's it.
Then and
All
there.
this
That's it.
investigating, all this whatever, you shouldn't have done
Hmm.
it. If you was going to tell
Baiting
Dante,
Brooklyn,
right, giving
all that.
ultimatums and timelines and you
Yeah.
better do it by whatever. No. If you want Dante to know, tell Dante. Tell him. And you didn't. And so I think that that for me is what's wrong. I know that like the way my values are set up, I don't think Lulu or I don't think Brooklyn did anything wrong. I understand that other people see it other ways. For me, I get why it could be funny in the light that she didn't tell Dante when they got older, but the stuff that she did when she was younger, I actually don't think she should apologize for. I don't think she needs to apologize to Dante at all. If she
Hmm.
apologizes, it's very much the like apologies that I hate, which is like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm not sorry for what
Hmm.
I did. What I did was like try to give our kid the best possible life because I wasn't ready to be a mother and you weren't ready to be a father.
Right. And she told
It's
him, I
that
mean,
simple.
she said, I guess, I don't know if it was essentially the same words, but she did feel sorry that he's feeling bad. But she also said she wouldn't have done anything different. And
And she
it,
shouldn't
and
have.
if she had a choice today, she still wouldn't have told him. So
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but not sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I am definitely Team Chalynn. I love me wife guy Chase. Anna
Yeah.
tried to like tell Dante and like use her own history, and so she had to like lock him and Chase in there, like get along. So,
Yeah. I just feel like, I
um,
mean, I think Dante is being similar in to Lulu in that everyone is telling him a perspective and trying to give him an opportunity to have some empathy in the situation, and he's refusing. So he just goes
yep,
on being angry from one person to the next. And sooner or
yep,
later, somebody's gonna smack him and be like,
yeah.
"You better stop," you know?
Par-
So,
Particularly because he saw the fallout from what Lois and Gloria did. So,
right.
like, just having no empathy and only upset and only thinking about himself and all of that is silly. And it also, I appreciated Sonny being like, look, me and your mama got over it.
Hmm.
Your
I
mama
think
is
he's
my
more
third
mad.
favorite baby mama.
Yeah, I think he's projecting. He's more mad at himself, especially
Yeah,
over how he's relating to Gio than anything. And now he
yeah,
knows he has to really start from the bottom in order to get Gio to give him any time of the day.
yeah. Because he basically
Well, I
told him
mean,
you ain't nothing because you was raised by women,
yeah,
basically.
that must be a horrible feeling to know that the person who you hated, similar to Nina, that you hated is your daughter or
Well,
your son.
I wouldn't compare,
Dante is
but
nowhere Nina. He's nowhere near Nina, but it's a similar situation. Finding out the person that they hated is their child,
right.
like
Yeah.
crazy. And then
Yeah.
I mean, Gio is a way better person than Willow. I don't know.
I liked
Yeah.
Gio and Rocco scenes and like they were awkward and
Yes.
whatever, but him just being like, look, we spent time together before. Let's continue to spend time together. I liked that. I thought that was cute.
I
And
like how
I'm
he
looking
can
forward to
go
the
from
Smithers.
I like how he can go from being stern and angry to yeah, it's really great that we know each other. He'll just pop up
Yeah.
with this brilliant smile all of a sudden. And
Yeah.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, you know.
Gio is like most improved, like truly, like a
Definitely.
character that we was like, why is he here? To
Yes.
oh Gio. We love you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Ah, Gio, do the right thing and push homegirl into the home dude into the pool. That was great.
not great. And I said this like propaganda I'm not falling for Ava and Cody. I need to know how you feel about it. So obviously
I
we have Christina hiring Cody to seduce Ava. Tanya, take it away.
the most person I hate the most being in the mix with one of the people I love the most. Oh hell no. I need Ava to see right through this. I do. I need her to be like, if she catches one whiff of Cody talking to Christina, I need her light bulb to go off and be like, oh hell no. I'm hoping that's the case. I'm already feeling a little bit sorry for her in terms of Rick because her first phone call to Rick was like, are you okay? And all this other stuff. And who does he go to see first? Elizabeth,
Holding her hand. Mm.
holding her hand and whining to her about how he feels. No. So yeah, I need Ava. I mean, Ava can be ridiculous when she's in revenge mode, but man, I can't wait till she gets on revenge mode with Cody because he's gonna deserve every last second of it. And Christina, child, your mama told you to take a step back, and what's the first thing you do? Go scheming, some ridiculous scheme. Sit back and chill. Chill out. Go away. Play babysitter to who all other kids are out there, but just sit down somewhere. I cannot with her. She's becoming my number two, you know. And right
Hmm.
now at this moment I hate Cody for no reason other than I just hate him, but Christina's giving me every reason to hate her.
Yeah,
I'm sick of it.
actively. Yeah, 100%.
I'm just like no,
Yeah,
they need to get
yeah.
together and ride off into the sunset somewhere. Molly doesn't deserve Cody, but Christina does.
Um, yeah. So first of all, when Cody was talking to Carly, it was like trying to
That
do
was
his like
funny.
singles night or whatever, and she was like, "We don't rent by the hour. We're a 5-star hotel."
So we'll tell. She's funny. She's like, this is a
I was
ridiculous
like,
idea.
um, I'm just like, Cody, absolutely not. And so then
Right.
the whole like sunglasses, blah 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 blah. I, Cody, Cody is a nail sex worker. This is what we're like, what's like, this is what you're getting hired to do. I
Ah,
gross. And it's also like one of those things, this kind of similar to when, there was like the scheme of when Nick they were trying to push like Nicholas with Ava, or when Nicholas and Ava were together trying to push Nicholas with Liz and
oh
Ava with
yeah.
Franco. So like we've already seen this with Ava. Um it's uninteresting to me. I we'll see what happens. Like Cody got his seduction haircut. That's what we're doing now. What is Matt gonna think? Matt, come get your son.
Right. This is the man who's perpetually not knowing what's the right thing to do with his life. He's pretty much set up to do some great things if he actually put his mind to it. But no, he's just set on scheming and getting into trouble for no reason.
Because he
Sir,
can't be
sit
with because he
down.
can't be with his cousin. The last thing I
You know,
have. Oh no, go ahead.
like I understand because Sasha's great, but man, dude,
Sasha's
get over
amazing.
it.
Please,
You need to
enough
get
of it.
over it.
Enough of it. Last thing I have is Natalia and Sunny. Oh my God, girl, I don't care. Get her out of here.
They found a
So
dignified way to get rid of her because they knew the writing was on the wall.
listen. So Natalia obviously got pulled over for the DUI last week. We find out this is like one of multiple DUIs. Okay, girl,
Mhm.
get off the road. Um, and then for whatever reason, she has like some information of Sunny that the DA might be able to use from deception. That's like the money is being crossed. Jason was mad. This is what you mean. It was very clear like Sunny was like, this was happening when I wasn't on my meds for real. That's how
Yeah.
money got crossed. Because Jason was like, what are you talking about? Clearly we know better than this. So he was like, I guess you don't. And
Jason,
so
and he's also, we're gonna, get rid of her. What are we gonna do?
we're gonna do. So they're trying to give her a new identity, new life. Marco is her son,
Mm,
is like, oh yeah, I can tell that this is a problem. I can tell that so she didn't even tell her son that
yeah,
Sonny knows. I loved Alexis having to recuse herself. She's like,
right.
that's my baby daddy and my friend.
Yeah, I respect him, even though she, doesn't think much of him as a dad. But
Right. So yeah, I mean, the homophobic Maria Santos, I don't know. It was always a bad story. She was always a bad character. It was always just, it was never what it needed to be. It never gave what it needed to give. Her and Sunny never had chemistry. I just never liked it.
nobody liked it. And so, sorry, Ava the Rue, but you should just go on a Young and the Restless.
Sometimes I do wonder if when she disappears, if Marco will think that like Sunny did something to her. Like I wonder
Yeah,
if
I think it might be the impetus of him actually fully going into partnership with dad.
mm,
That would be an interesting story for him. Having to navigate being an actual mob boss adjacent and navigating the relationship with Lucas. And what does that mean? Poor
right.
Lucas. He always attracts the problematic people.
I also love that everybody when Marco tells them that he's messing with Lucas, they're like, oh, okay, go Lucas.
Right?
Yeah. So I enjoyed them, or I enjoyed Lucas and Marco. I hope that this
Hmm.
does not stop that train from leaving the station.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
hope that homophobic Maria Santos is out of here because there was no reason for her to be here in the first place. I don't want to see her.
Right.
Bye.
But we only wish good things for you, Ava LaRue. And,
Yes, legend.
go to Young and the Restless. They'll know what to do with you. Or
Right.
Beyond the Gates,
Ooh, okay.
right?
Anything else? Anything that's not here?
Right. Ah, we wish you
Uh,
well.
yeah. So in more casting news, we always get casting news. Erica Slezak, aka Vicky
Right.
from One Life to Live, will be coming to GH. We don't know who she's gonna play. We don't know if she's gonna be Vicky. It's been pointed out several times that that Lulu works for her
Or,
newspaper. So if
yeah.
she comes, that would make sense, and we'll see Lulu in her, maybe Laura in her. That could be interesting. But we don't
All
know
I
who she's
gotta
gonna play.
say is, all I gotta say is, writers, y'all better not F this up. Don't
Yeah,
disrespect Erica Slezak.
right. Don't disrespect the legend. So
Right.
I'm interested to see what happens. Love her, love everything she brings. So hopefully she will bring some good stuff.
Mhm.
Do you have any hot takes?
Let me see, let me see. I didn't write very much outside of the whole custody battle.
Yeah, me neither.
Um, what did I say? What does it have to be goodbye? Just say, can we be friends? Give me a... Oh yeah, with Lucky and Liz, because they're like, Liz was like, goodbye, Lucky. I'm like, why does it have to be goodbye? Just like, give me a call when you land, write letters, something like
Face
that. They're
FaceTime
just
me or
like, bye,
something.
you know,
Yeah,
just
FaceTime me or
bye.
something. Ain't gotta be all that, but
And,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, and then I wrote. So my end of the day, my thoughts for the week was like, so F Drew and F Lulu, bet.
Yep.
because both of them just bad, bad.
Yeah. Some of the comments that I thought that I really love that people have been leaving us is just like stuff like even when I don't agree with y'all, I like listen to y'all, like y'all have intelligent conversation. And I really do hope that we continue to do that. Like we have our favorites, we have the things that we like. We also like really love the show and completely understand why it's interesting when you have characters that you don't like. It's interesting, like the difference between, again, like I said, like how much I hated Sona versus like how I feel about Lulu is all perspective. It's all people like she's in no business. People are pushing back. We're not supposed to be. Not, and you can take whatever side you want to, but you're not like the
Mhm.
show's not like trying to force you to feel whatever. And I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into next week. Monday. Jason is a thorn in Drew's side.
Ooh.
Carly shows her appreciation to Brennan. So there was like I don't know if you saw this that Cameron Matheson maybe had spoiled something
Yeah.
on Instagram. So it's possible
Yeah.
that somebody like paid the judge or tipped it off. So I was like thinking when I read that, I was like, well, maybe Brennan did something. I don't know. Also, maybe nothing at all, but we'll see.
Yeah. He was just messing around. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Lulu offers an apology, clearly not to Brooklyn, probably to Maxie. Um, Tracy meets with Martin. Gio is troubled by what he overhears.
Ooh.
Tuesday, Sasha is alarmed. Curtis makes Michael an offer. Emma gets the upper hand. Oh, backing up. I do wonder if this is old back in the day, we would have Willow trying to steal Daisy from Sasha.
Okay.
So I do wonder if
Yeah.
like something about Willow is what has Sasha alarmed.
Okay.
Anyway, Emma gets the upper hand. Josh pitches Josh pitches the idea to Vaughn. Lulu is pleasantly surprised. Hate it. Never want her to be pleasant anything. Uh, Wednesday, Elizabeth makes a revelation. Willow faces a major decision. Michael and Sasha have a frank talk.
Mm.
Trina and Kai get big news. I think they're supposed to be like reading his scans or something next week, which whatever. So, um, Curtis rebuffs Portia. Thursday, Sunny wants answers from Sidwell. Lulu and Isaiah meet for drinks. Not interested.
Yeah.
Michael catches up with Jason. Jordan opens up to Anna. Marco is conflicted. Friday, Emma and Gio have a memorable encounter. Okay. They do live in the
Hmm.
same house.
Right.
Um, Ava counsels Nina. Christina warns Michael. Willow makes an announcement. Tracy feels concerned.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, we shall see. Hopefully they keep up the momentum. Hopefully we have like some unspoiled things that we see next week. Um,
Yay.
yeah. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Um, you can buy us a coffee and you can buy merch. And all of those proceeds will go towards us going to the fan club weekend. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.